Hola and welcome to the Latina Leaders Podcast, where we celebrate, empower, and uplift Hispanic and BIPOC women. I'm your host, Jennifer Cortez, creative entrepreneur, founder of Latina Leaders, and an advocate for La Comunidad. Today's guest is a very, very inspiring guest. She is an entrepreneur coming from Colombia, has made her space here in Canada as an entrepreneur, and is the owner of Taste of Colombia in Oakville. I'd like to give a warm welcome to Yury.
Thank you. Thank
Wu
you for
Parra.
having me.
Yury,
Mm-hmm.
tell us a little bit about yourself when you came to Canada. How did that before Taste of Colombia?
Before Taste of Colombia,
Yes.
okay? Thank you for having me today. This is exciting. I came to Canada about 28 years ago. 28 years ago, always been in the admin field. Started working in Canada again in the admin field in Toronto, worked for a number of years, living in Oakville, doing the commute, growing my family. At the time, I had only one child. Now, eventually, I had three. And so married. And so, busy mom of three up until then, before I decided to start my business, my own business.
Okay, so that seems like you were full. So how did the transition happen? Or what happened?
Very good question. So I always tell people, well, it was sort of at the time where, women then are asked to go back to the workforce.
Mm-hmm.
But we are full-time moms, and we are raising our children and then, doing all the things that entails. It was a decisive point in my life where I wanted to either start my own business or go back to work after having had three children, right? So at that point, I started to think, maybe the time to start my own business is now, because if I go back into the workforce, who knows how many years. And then that sort of inspired me to make a change, because I had stopped working for a while. In fact, it was almost like 10 years that I was home with the kids. So I didn't want to go back to the 9 to 5 to, being admin. That was great and all that, but I wanted a change. And also, big factor, I wanted it to be in Oakville, so I could be close to my kids, go pick them up at school or drop them at school, and then go to work faster than having to commute again to Toronto. I remember that was a big thing for me. So that's how then I started playing around with different ideas and say, what can I do that is in Oakville that ties a little bit of what I like? How can I put all those things together? The organic movement, the fair trade movement, the coffee industry, the music, all of that. How can I integrate those into a business?
That's amazing. First of all, it's amazing because I've seen your business now and you have incorporated all those things.
Yes.
So it's like, that's hard to do.
It was at the beginning because you trying to come up with an idea that this will be your job, who knows for how many years. This is the place where you're going to have to spend countless hours, because what I didn't realize before I started my own business is that you end up spending almost twice the amount of hours that you would have in another job. But I say it's more rewarding because you're creating something that is yours and that. But so thinking about, you're going to spend a lot of hours on this project. You're going to be here. This is going to be your job. Make it something you enjoy.
So how old is Taste of Colombia? So for everyone to know, like, when was it born?
Okay. The idea started taking shape 2011. I started scouting places, going around, seeing the neighborhoods. And then eventually I decided on a location at the end of 2011 and, doing the business plan, which is a very good thing that I recommend everybody to spend months doing, because we tend to rush through that part, and it's no good. When you dedicate good enough time to a business plan, then you force yourself to put those ideas into paper. So I did all that in 2011, and I found the location, and we opened the doors to the public of the business in February 2012.
Wow.
That's when we were born.
Wow. Okay. And since then, wow, it's 2025 and
It's 2025. The
flourishing.
café or Taste of Colombia is 13 years now
That's
and more.
amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's in a beautiful location. If you haven't visited, you have to visit. It's in Bronte Village, right?
Bronte Village by the lake.
Yes.
It's a tourist designated area,
Mhm.
and it's a beautiful area. It's also
Yes.
the neighbors, the people there, they've been so welcoming. The community,
Yes.
it's an amazing community.
Yes, and the coffee
supported us through.
the coffee is very like you have made. I've had a latte there before. What was it called again? I can't remember the name of the latte that I had there, but you recommended it to me the last time I went because I'm like, there's so much to choose from, so I want something good.
Okay.
So you gave me this latte and it was amazing. So yeah, you have to try, and it's authentic from Colombia.
Yes. So in the world of coffee, we called ourselves an independent cafe. We deal with the specialty coffee. So it's not your regular coffee. We pay a lot of attention to the coffee we buy, in terms of flavor, in terms of quality, but also making sure it's organic, making sure it's fair trade, making sure it's the highest quality for our clients. And of course, being Colombian, the best Colombian coffee we can bring, but not limited to Colombian coffee. Because as a barista, and I'm also a barista, the person who deals with coffee and prepares coffee is called a barista. I have to make sure I have stronger coffee than Colombian coffee. Colombian coffee is beautiful, but it's a little mild for a lot of people in Canada. So I have to have also other beautiful coffees from El Salvador, Guatemala, Nicaragua, and sometimes other countries. So we specialize in South American and Central American coffee. Okay. And that's what we bring that is different than the other coffee chains that are out there.
Right. You support pretty much all Latin America.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic to know. So that's amazing, Yury. So because you started this journey in entrepreneurship, how did you even start knowing exactly where to go, like the process of?
Okay, that excellent question, Jennifer. So for everybody to know, there are resources out there. I'm sure the city of Mississauga has their own business center. So in Oakville, we have the Oakville Business Center, and it's a place where you go and they have resources for you. You ask and you say, I'm here, I'm a new entrepreneur, I need resources. Like, how do I create a business plan? Because I know sometimes we have the idea, but it's not like I knew how to do a business plan. So I didn't know how to go and ask a bank for a business loan. I didn't know anything about having my own business, but I knew there were places I could go and learn or ask for help. So this is a good message that I want to impart to any woman, to anybody from the Latino community. If you're here, you want to establish your own business, do your research, sit into the library, start researching what resources are in my city that are going to support me. And you will be surprised as to how many resources you will find. So in that business center of Oakville, I found support. I found a program called, I remember this program called Access to Professionals program. And it was amazing because as a new person who was about to open a business or new entrepreneur, they set me up for a free hour with a lawyer to ask all kinds of questions. And a free hour with a professional is worth money. So right there, I was already saving money and I was already obtaining the resources that I needed. An hour with a marketing person, an hour with accountant to ask those important questions. Okay, I'm going to start my business. I don't know if I should be a sole proprietor. I don't know if I should be incorporated. I don't know what to do with this. I don't know what to do with that, because you start getting into legal issues and you need to do it properly. Otherwise, you may create a problem for you, and you don't want that. You want to move forward with your business idea, but in a way that protects your legal rights and the rights of the business. So you will need to be seeking counsel, and all these places start you up with this. And they had, the this is how you create a business plan. These are all the samples. These are what else do you need? And I found it very, very useful.
That sounds very
and
helpful.
I could ask questions. I could ask questions as to, I don't know this. Where do I start? And they will guide you through the process. And also, I mean, every business is different. In my case, because I was opening a coffee shop, because that's how everything started. Now we have expanded to have a little studio beside us, but we started basically as a coffee shop. So a coffee shop is a business that deals with food. So you need certain licenses that perhaps somebody who's selling jewelry doesn't need, right? We need a different insurance because we need to protect ourselves from liability insurance. We need food handling certifications. We need all kinds of things. So depending on your business idea and depending on what you're going to do, you're going to need certain requirements, right?
For sure.
So
that's amazing that you went through, because some people are afraid. You know, they have this idea in their head and then they're worried about, okay, maybe it won't work, or, you know, but I love that you had a vision.
Yes, I struggle with that too. Every business person, every entrepreneur, in the back of your head, you're always worried. I'm going to invest. I'm not going to make money anytime soon, because, you know, there's a process to everything. How am I going to get paid? How am I going to pay for all these things? That's why you need a business plan that says, okay, this is my starting point. This is how much my projected sales. This is my expenses. And this is how much I will need to survive this period. And then hopefully if the business goes well, then it starts generating revenue, right? So that's why I cannot recommend enough to do your research before you jump into any of these things. Just sit down, you know, and research and see where you are and what is it that you're trying to do and how long do you have the resources to actually create that and last while people get to know you, clients start realizing, oh, there's a new cafe or this is a new business, and start supporting you. So yeah, it's a process, but it is doable. I am a person who, before I started my business, I never had my business. I never had a business before. I had the curiosity, but I'm also the kind of person who has to try it, because if I hadn't done it, then every night in my sleep, I thought, oh, I should have done it. Why didn't I not do this? And I think that would have been worse than doing it and failing. That was also a choice. Failing is also a choice. I think I'd rather live with the fact that I tried it and maybe it didn't work than the fact that, oh, I never tried it now. And then you see other people doing what you wanted to say, I thought of that one, but I don't want fear to be...
to stop you.
You know. I think you always, if you firmly believe in something, I think you should try it. I mean, and if worst comes to worst, there will be lessons for you to learn there. Also, another thing that I learned, Jennifer, is that yes, you set out to do something with your business plan, but along the way, clients bring you ideas. You yourself start saying, there's the need for this, there's the need for that. You have to keep being flexible and being able to integrate ideas that perhaps will increase your revenue and that will give you more things to do. So,
you know, and that's great. That right there was the best advice you could give, because things change and you have to adapt, right? And I love how your cafe has adapted to not just selling coffee.
That's right.
I want you to tell them about what else.
So this happened in the most interesting way. I opened a cafe, and from day one in my business plan, you could say, yes, I'm going to sell coffee, but my place is going to be different. My place is going to be Colombian. People will go. It's called Taste of Colombia for a reason, because when you open the door and the client comes in, what we decided to give the client was not just a cup of coffee, but an experience. So they walk in and they immediately see colors, textures, they hear music, they smell the coffee, they can sit and touch the woods that we have. Like every single detail has been designed with a designer using all the concepts that I wanted to incorporate to reflect the culture I come from. And I said to every immigrant, it doesn't matter what country, what continent you come from, I'm sure you have beautiful things you can bring to this Canadian culture that we're now a part of, right? So we are now Canadians, and we're here to work and make this country also beautiful and continue to be a peaceful country that welcomes all kinds of people from all over the world.
Yeah.
But our job as immigrants also is to bring the most beautiful parts of whatever culture is it. In my case, is Colombia. My music, my coffee, my food, my language. Make it part of my business, and then show the best of my culture and share with Canadians that perhaps when I opened, they didn't have the most, I'll say, positive image about Colombia. But hopefully now, after 13 years of coming to my place, that has absolutely changed.
I love that you said that, because each immigrant, like you said, comes here with something different
and valuable, very valuable.
And you have this love for Colombia that you just wanted to give out, and for people that don't know Colombia to actually experience.
Yes. So going back to that, we were providing that experience, and actually the clients themselves started telling us, oh my God, that is amazing music. Oh my God, you must do something about that, because we need to dance. And I'm like, what? We need to dance? I've been a dancer all my life. I love music. That's why music was such a big part of the cafe, because I love it. And nothing is better to me than to be making the best coffee, but also with listening to the best music at the same time. It just makes it more vibrant, more happy. It makes it into a happy place. So for me, that was, when I started listening to those clients, they started saying, you must do salsa night, you should do flamenco night, you should do all these things. And I'm like, really? But we didn't have the space.
Yes.
But the moment we say yes to those ideas and we started listening to our own clients, we're demanding and we're willing to pay for this, then I'm like, okay, let's see how we can work that into the cafe. And we did. And soon it started growing organically, which was beautiful. And then we had the need to expand. So we took on the unit next door that by them had become available. It wasn't available when we started, but the lady who was there moved, and then it was a good time, and
that's perfect.
We juntamos. We
basically you united. That's not the right word.
But amalgamated the two units. Joined the two units. Thank you. And then now today, for the people who haven't visited Taste of Colombia, we have a full cafe in one unit, and we have a studio next door.
That's amazing.
And that studio allows us to, during the day, double the capacity for people to sit, because it's joined by a door, but also to host events, which you yourself had hosted events in our venue. We can now do our famous salsa nights, which, by the way, have been running for 13 years now. And what do you know? That's the highest revenue night. But it wasn't in my original business plan, but I listened to what my clients were asking for. There was not a salsa night in Oakville at that time, and it still isn't. Ours is the only one. So by listening to my clients and saying, could this work with my values, which the answer was yes, because I love music, I love dancing, and dancing is a big part of the Colombian culture, the Latin culture. And so we did it, and it's been running consecutively for 13 years
That's
now.
amazing.
And it's today, Saturday, we're going to go and dance, and it's the most fun night for me.
And I love how you support also instructors. Different instructors come in and they share their different
They
types
rent
of
the
dance.
studio from us, and then they have their own flamenco classes, or they have their own dance classes, or they have their own meditation, or they have, you name it, art classes. We've done so many activities in that space. It's a very welcoming space. It doubles as a gallery. We give artists the opportunity to exhibit their work. Local artists, they don't have to be Latino artists, but anybody can apply and be part of that. So I say, it has been a very positive experience. I'm not going to say it hasn't been challenging. It's challenging. Every business, you go through ups and downs. You go to, oh my God, this month wasn't as good as the last, and this and that. And then, of course, there was COVID, but COVID was for everybody. And, you learn to adapt. You learn to, okay, maybe I won't do that again, but I will continue to do these things that have proven to be the best use of my time and resources. right?
My goodness. Well, first of all, that's amazing. Another thing I do like, I have to say what else I like about your cafe is that you are so about sustainability. So that's a big part.
So yes, since the beginning, dealing with organic coffee and organic ingredients as much as possible, because some things are not. You can find some things that are organic, but as much as you can. That was number one. In the coffee industry particularly, a lot of people don't know that, you go to a regular coffee chain, and then people say, oh, it was so hard in my stomach, right? My stomach hurts every time I have this coffee. And it's not necessarily the coffee. The coffee gets blamed for it, but it's the pesticides in coffee. So I know this a long time ago, and I decided, okay, I'm only going to sell organic coffee, because you don't need to drink pesticides with your coffee or your food for that matter. So that was important, but also fair trade. And in here, fair trade in Spanish es comercio justo. Es cuando se le paga justamente al productor, okay? That part wasn't as well known, even in Canada back then, because I know about fair trade for about 20 years now, and I've been working with projects and as a volunteer project in the field of fair trade. But incorporated fair trade practices in your business means you're also aware of how much that producer is being paid back in Colombia or in El Salvador or in Guatemala. Traditional big corporations pay as little as they can so that they can bring it here and make as much profit as they can. That's what your traditional commerce is like. In fair trade, that doesn't happen. In fair trade, there's some prices, especially for coffee, because coffee is the second most traded commodity after oil. Okay, around the world, if you think how many cups of coffee are drunk every day, so it's huge. So after oil, coffee is the second most traded commodity. Okay, so that tells you how big it is. And if the producers at the beginning of the chain don't get paid fairly, then that's not good. It's a big abuse. So we try to defeat that by only buying coffee that's fair trade certified. And in some cases, we also do direct trade. And we avoid coffee that is not, being paid fairly, because we don't think it's fair, especially being Latin American, being Colombian. I don't think it's fair that people here pay $5 for a cafe latte.
Yeah.
And the producer over there who worked hard all year to give us that beautiful coffee doesn't get even 50 cents per cup of that money. So we don't think that's fair. So in fair trade, we try to say, no, he's going to get paid fairly, and there's certain things that they have to be paid. So at least he can send his kids to school, which is sort of what we all want, right? And have a more dignified living. So that's what fair trade is. Every person who walks into the cafe, we try to educate. We do events. We do events with the schools, with the students every year to educate them about what fair trade is.
Okay. That's
and
nice.
We show them that the bags of coffee that they buy from us, they're all fair trade certified. So that's an important component.
That's very important. And that just shows the value, your values. And I think that's really important for people to know.
There's also a thing that you can do business and you can do good at the same time. So they don't have to be exclusive. Because for many years, I worked in the non-for-profit industry in Toronto when I came here. And that's great. The non-for-profit sector does amazing work. That's las organizaciones sin ánimo de lucro, okay, en español. But that doesn't mean if I'm doing business, I have to be, I'm sort of one of the bad guys now and I only care about money. You don't have to do that. We can say, you know what? Being fair trade also means, and this is very, very important for me, being fair trade also means that we respect the rights of the workers that we have. So giving proper breaks, paying more than the minimum wage, making sure your staff, has access to proper rest. They have enough breaks during the day. They have food to eat. They have drinks. They have this. Kind of being more aware of the, the fact that your employees are also people who get
Yeah.
sick or who have troubles at home or have mental health issues. So being a little bit more patient, being a little bit more
Passionate.
thank you. So that's a good word. Yes, you can run your business and you can treat people
Yeah.
with respect
Yeah.
and be more compassionate, not because they're working for you and that's it. It's not just I'll pay you, you do what I want. Is you can run your business and have a more compassionate outlook. And also it just reflects into everything you do, I would say. I think it reflects. And so caring about for the people who produce the foods that you use, caring about for the people that work with you, caring about the environment. We try to use biodegradable and things as much as we can, even though we're in the coffee industry with a lot of people use cups to go, which is it breaks my heart every day. We try to encourage people to bring their own mugs. We give them a discount if they do.
That's great, actually. Did you hear that?
Yeah,
you get a discount if
you get a discount if you pretty much the value of what we would have paid for the cup, the Java jacket and the lid.
Yeah,
we give you that money back if you bring your own mug.
That's
so that we
amazing.
don't have to create more pollution for the planet, because that's a big problem as we are seeing right now.
Yes.
So my message for entrepreneurs is try to do what you're passionate about. Try to incorporate it in your business, because that's who you are and that's going to reflect. But do it in a way that if you can respect the environment and the people who work with you and your suppliers and everybody who's involved in that chain.
Yeah.
I think to me that has been a big factor. And you know what? Your clients notice. Your clients notice that. Yeah. And it just perhaps makes them feel better to support you because of that.
Yeah.
And when you create an environment that's nice, and let's say you walk into our cafe, I think it's warmer than going to another place where there's no music. There's sort of that void of identity.
Yes. So, no, and I was going to ask you next, what would you say to entrepreneurs? You already answered my question. What would you say? And the advice, and that's fantastic advice, to basically well-rounded, to think about different aspects, not just business.
And if you don't know how to do something, find that person in the community who can do it, or who has been doing it. I get a lot of calls. I train people. This is another thing that I developed, because people kept coming to me and said, well, I want you to train me then, because I don't know how to make coffee. I don't know. So we do barista training, and I've also do a lot of consulting for people who's opening their own business and they don't know where to start.
Okay.
And they want to save the hassle and waste time and money. So I have done consulting for people who's going to open a small place, and you can start small and you can make it bigger depending on the needs of the area. Or they have a restaurant but they don't have a good coffee area.
Yeah.
So we can go in and say, okay, you can improve your coffee by doing this and that. And it doesn't have to be a huge investment. It can be small or medium or large depending on where you are.
Right.
See what's out there in the community, who's doing something you like. Ask for advice from that person, or that a lot of the time they posted a lot of stuff that you can benefit from. Google it, research it, and if you still don't find the answer, go out in the community and ask people. Ask people.
Okay.
So
don't be afraid to ask.
Don't be afraid to ask. Access the resources that are out there in your town precisely for business.
Okay. Thank you so much, Yury, for all of that. That was amazing. I feel like I've been educated in the coffee business. So thank you so much.
No problem.
Where can everyone find you online?
Yes, online.
And,
very easy. tasteofcolombia.ca. That's our website. But we also
Instagram,
all the social media, Facebook, Instagram,
former
Twitter, X now, or blogs. We have presence everywhere, because that's something you should also do, right?
Yeah,
but this is your expertise.
Thank you so much, Yury, for being here. I know you're so busy, so I really appreciate you coming here today, because the coffee Taste of Colombia needs you. So thank you so much for being here and inspiring me, because I've seen how you work, especially the last few months that we've been in contact.
Yes.
And other women and other Latinas. That's the whole point. So thank you for that. And thank you everyone for watching Latina Leaders Podcast. And you can find us on Spotify, YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe, to like, to share, to support the channel so that it grows. Thank you very much. Ciao.